Lakeside International, we have internationals in our fleet as well, but they haven't, traditionally, they haven't been low bid on the more recent purchases we've been making. We have no problem with international. As John indicated, there, we have the Badger truck has poor service and service availability. On the back of his report, you know, it kind of details the problems we've been having with getting the equipment out of Badger when we've had problems. When we look at the use of this equipment, one of the primary uses is what you've seen the trucks out there doing today, which is plowing and salting. It's a corrosive environment, and we've been doing a lot better with the aluminum than we have with the steel. The cab is being proposed with a Freightliner model. It's steel with Badger. Truck Country, and they had offered a $1,250 discount if we buy it in January with the current pricing. If you add in the aluminum cab and then the future frame repairs, we've been paying about $2,500 to get a frame repair on Freightliners. So if we simply have that same problem, and the problem is it's not a unified piece of steel. It's pieces of steel that are together, and the rusting is occurring as it's getting in the cracks in the wedge. Truck Country purchase would be $65,012 versus $68,231 for the Badger truck, which is the Freightliner. Consequently, I think that the best, the most responsive bid for the bill would be one proposed by Truck Country, the amount of $65,012. Would be my recommendation that would be authorized to enter into contract with Truck Country to purchase that chassis. Is there any questions? John's still close to the mic, and I'd be glad to answer.
I have a question for John. Regarding Truck Country, what's the average turn on theirs? They come down, pick it up, bring it up, repair it. How long does it usually take?
Depending on the type of repair that we have. We just had a transmission replaced on 1999 vehicle, and Truck Country had that new transmission out and rebuilt everything done within 48 hours for us. And that's really important when we have as much snow as we can have, and we really need to count on that service. And that's something that we haven't had with a Badger truck. And Chile did act together with the next operations, and we can have a hard time recommending any work.
Thank you.
Fine. John, what was the budget on this?
The budget was a combination for the single axle chassis and for the equipment was $140,000, as was noted in the memo. And the combination by paying the $65,012 for the chassis, and then the next item on the agenda was the snowplow equipment for $74,054, brings us to $139,066. So we're still about $934 under budget.
With going with Truck Country.
Right, that's correct.
My question is, was this sent out as a RFP or an RFB? RFB. Now, can we accept the non-low bid like you would in a RFP, being that it isn't the lowest bid? Do we run into any problems with that legally?
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. One of the requirements in the bid is they're able to provide comprehensive maintenance and repair work on the equipment that they're supplying. Our truck, we have really the big ones are Sterling and International. And I think we've come to the conclusion that some of the problems are with the Sterling design, but we haven't been included in the bid. But it gives us the opportunity to evaluate the product that's being proposed and evaluate whether or not that product best meets our needs, and whether or not the vendor has the wherewithal to complete the maintenance on that project, on the equipment to go forward. We haven't, with equipment vendors, we haven't required them to go through a qualification bid process. We pretty much try to keep it in those areas where we can. It's not all things we can keep open and have open specs and equipment. So we haven't done that. Now, and maybe it could be possible that if another vendor was the supplier for Sterling and they had more responsive maintenance and were able to repair equipment in a more timely manner or address maintenance issues and keep stock in hand, we might be able to deal with some of the other things, and maybe it would be a big issue. But we have seen, and basically with the stock bid, as John's indicated, Freightliner, and I don't know if it's true for international wells, going to aluminum cabs providing things that are lengthening the life of the trucks are significantly different than Sterling's doing. When we moved truck and fleet, it's had 20 years of service, and we're able to keep those trucks lasting 20 years. I mean, that saves all this money. And I think with the aluminum, that's the same. Aluminum suffers from corrosion, but it's just different. And it's not as ravaging as it is with the steel. And we go through repainting the boxes or doing what we have to do. Those that we do now, but hopefully not much to do with the aluminum. So we may take a look at our next set of specifications and write out Sterling if we feel that they're not going to be able to meet the and we can do that. I also believe that given the past performance, they're not going to, they continue to provide service they do, they're not going to be able to meet the qualifications of the spec for maintenance and warranty. And that'd be my recommendation for basing our exclusion of their bid.
Okay, sorry, one more. Wouldn't we be wise in calling it an RFP in the future?
Well, we can definitely do that, but my experience is when bidding equipment, whether it's, dump trucks, fire trucks, there's so many peculiarities of the manufacturers, and there's things that work well in how we operate, and that might be different than other communities. John has a really specific list of things that he wants to see work for us in the future. In our department, I think you typically from these guys, you don't get as clean a bid, and you don't get have them going by the list on what you need. So even if you do an RFP, it almost functions like an RFP because we won't, even in the RFP, we're going to be sending out everything we want, and they're going to be giving it back. But if we just do a straight RFP, usually you just get a proposal, you get a price sheet, and you won't get the details that we're looking for. And you can request that, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't have a vendor come back and say, I wouldn't come back saying you use an RFP to be able to exclude me from consideration, because an RFP you can surely say, I don't care what the price is, we're going to take what's good for us. With an RFP, we're really trying to drive these guys to sharpen their pencils and get a price down because they know we're going to look at it. And at the end of the day, they still have to come up with a quality product and the ability to maintain that product. So we can, if they can't do that, then I think we're excluded. But, we've done it a couple times, and I can't say that I'm really happy with it.
I just want to make sure that we're protecting ourselves for anything legally come back and say they were a little bitter. Mike?
Buying a vehicle, whether it be a truck, a garbage truck, or a car, the service is on that vehicle is just as important as the vehicle itself. And I recall vividly the problem John had with the garbage truck. That was an item that was under warranty, that should have been taken care of in a timely manner, that wasn't, and I don't care what anybody says. That tie-up cost this village money, and it cost us an enormous amount of inconvenience to the residents. John's crew, as usual, picked up the slack, did a great job, but they had to do a little extra to get there. So it's unfortunate that things like this have to happen. Maybe things will improve with Badger in the future. I can only hope. But right now, I would not have a problem at all with the ordinance bid charge.
For like I said about 5 years ago, one of the issues of illegal municipalities, the issue of law being brought up, and there is some part in the discussion that allow you to take a bid larger than the lowest one. You don't have to take the lowest one, but you have to justify that. And in the way that John is justifying here, there's an explanation of the meetings and so on and so on. There is no way that anyone can make any plan the way concerning how we go to it. In my opinion, the matter is perfectly well applied.
If you wasn't aware of that, that's understandable.
Mr.
I believe in
President,
that.
I'd like to make a motion to award Truck Country the amount of $65,012 to purchase one single axle chassis.
Did we already have a motion?
I just made it.
Just make a motion. Separate
Very
motion.
good.
Second.
Recommended motion.
Yes.
You second, Mike?